Okay, so this is a video. I just switched my last PC to Linux from Windows because I just thought Linux was a lot of fun to use. Uh, like Windows was kind of annoying, but it wasn't really bothering me that much. But I used Linux a few years back and I loved it and I just wanted to use it. I am a fairly self-professed hater of, even though I can use it, it's not impossible, but I don't like the terminal. But I don't care. It doesn't matter because I don't use the terminal on here really. I used it once to install. Uh, I installed the Discover Store and that was it. Everything else here used. I used, what did I use? I used CachyOS Package Manager. And then I used a little bit of the Discover Store when the package manager didn't have. This is CachyOS, if you didn't know. I did theme it up a little, but yeah, I just enjoyed Linux, the experience more, and some of the things that were actually stopping me from switching to Linux completely was mostly, well, for a little while it was gaming. Another thing was VR, which I was surprised how easy it was to set up now, and it works great. But yeah, so gaming VR, but for VR, if you don't know, it's a simple app download, ALVR, and you can connect to your little thing there. You connect to your Quest 3 if you have one, and you can either wired or wireless play VR games. You also could use other VR headsets that are fairly plug and play. And there's some games that don't work, but the games I really wanted to work do. Also, I wanted my wheel to work. I have a wheel and pedal set up for that. I wanted to play Automobilisa 2 in VR, and it just so happens that works just fine. And the wheel was almost plug and play. There's like a driver that you have to install for what is it, for the force feedback. It works without it, plug and play, but if you want force feedback, there's a driver you got to install. It's like a couple lines of code, I believe, or it's not code, a couple fucking copy and paste it into the terminal. It's not a hard thing. But on Windows, actually, my wheel and setup, my wheel and pedal setup, the drivers kept getting uninstalled by Windows, and every time I would actually try to use the thing, I would have to reinstall the drivers because Windows would actually replace the drivers with their generic bullshit drivers, and then nothing would work right. And then, let's see, they also uninstalled AMD graphics drivers as well, making you have to redo all your drivers, like uninstall the old drivers, reinstall the new drivers, all that fun stuff. And luckily I don't have to worry about that because all the drivers are available in the friggin' OS, and I didn't have to do anything to get the graphics card to work. It just worked. So there's that. I also have a dedicated router called the Pupus S1, I believe is what it's referred to as. And I was using that on Windows. It's like a bridge, and it uses Ethernet and whatever, but it bridges your Ethernet and makes a dedicated connection for wireless virtual reality. And I plugged that in, and it worked great. So this way I can get higher bit rates and stuff instead of trying to use my main router with interference and such. Yeah, so I mean, by the way, I've also never used any of the shitty proprietary, not even shitty, but it's proprietary expensive software for like video editing and like photo editing. For a while I was using GIMP, for the longest time, for years, because I started using it when I was a broke little boy, and you know, so I had GIMP because I couldn't afford Photoshop. I also wasn't a big fan of the idea of subscribing to a piece of software. If I was going to have a piece of software, I wanted to either A, be free, or B, I wanted to pay for it outright. And one thing, and I've always felt that way, that I just want to pay for the software and have it, or it has to be free. Or have some kind of free version. However, I just recently went in and finally tried out Photopea, which is like not quite a Photoshop clone, but it's a lot like Photoshop, which I've never used, but it is free to use. It has ads. If you block the ads, it does break some of the functionality of the UI. So don't block the ads. Some of the features won't work. But you can create a little thing here. So I got in here. I use GIMP for thumbnails for my videos, but I use Photopea here, and I just tried it out and started trying to get familiar with it. And there's some cool stuff in here that I can't find in GIMP, like, you know, you have these photos. I can just grab some photos straight from Photopea. So I pull this up, and it has a little bit of AI kind of stuff like background removal. I'm not sure what the check mark is for, but anyways, I go here, and you go remove background, and it's going to play an ad. I think I muted the audio for the desktop, so I'm going to BS while the ad is playing, I guess. So, because I'm using the free version... Oh, it's muted. Good. Anyways, because I'm using the free version, it plays some ads. So, that's that, but I will watch some ads to be able to easily remove the background from a video. I'm sorry, from a picture. Because, you know, not every picture has like a simple background, like white, whatever. So, now it's processing, and bam, it just did that, and it did it for free. Whereas in GIMP, it's a whole big deal. And with this, I can actually just throw in a new background if I want. Let's just grab this, and I can go back here or wherever, and then get out of here, and let's just and then I can just resize this like that, and yeah, we have a bird, and then, you know, you can further do stuff with it, whatever. Anyways, I thought that was kind of cool. It also has a little bit of, you can replace the bird with using AI with something else. I'm not going to go through that whole thing, but that was just a thing that I kind of wanted when switching. We also have DaVinci Resolve. I was able to install this from the store here. So I don't know what's the most up-to-date version. If this, I don't remember, but it works, kind of. It's a little rough because it's not as capable as it is on, like, Windows and imagine Mac. But it's there if I want it, but I mostly plan on using Kdenlive because it does the job for video editing for me personally. And there's that, and then I was going to talk about something. So to talk about a lot of things. Oh, I have all these little customizations here. I swapped out the start menu, something that I tried to make it look a little closer to something that I was used to on Windows, and yeah, so I wanted to make it closer to like a Windows experience, but I wanted to kind of change it up a little bit So I have some stuff here. So I have the center taskbar. I do like that personally. But then I have this here, like you have on Windows. And I remember when I was younger, and we had like Windows XP and Windows Vista and stuff, and you could put widgets on the desktop. Whereas you can't do that anymore. They have that stupid sidebar they call a widget bar, and it's a bunch of crap on Windows. So I don't have that. I don't have the fucking what is that, the AI crap, like fucking what is that? They want to capture your desktop. They want to capture what you're doing. No Copilot, no buy my Office suite for $1 billion a month. Constantly, like I reboot my computer, and they want you to buy their Office suite, and a full screen ad. Buy this Office suite, and you can't actually tell them to stop telling you that. It's like, okay, tell me later. Tell me later. And that's the only option. You could either buy it or, say, hey, tell me about this later. And it just drives you nuts. And then when an update comes in, you don't know if they're going to force it on you or whatever. And then, it takes over your whole PC. Whereas on here, if I update, it just sits there. I can update however I want. You can go into the terminal and update your computer. You could use the update. There's an update application for updating. And I can update whenever I want. And when I reboot, it doesn't take very long to see. It's not like there's this whole friggin' thing with Windows where it takes like almost an hour or more to update your computer, and you can't use your computer anymore. So that's a thing. Also with gaming, I noticed when I play my games, I don't have all these weird prompts that interrupt my games. So if I load up a game, it doesn't like demand like firewall, permissions and whatever, and I have to grab a mouse. So I like to play with a controller. So you have all these pop-ups and things that have come up when you're trying to play a game that I don't get that on Linux. You may get a dialogue from a game that's actually from the actual game itself, but you don't get the operating system doesn't interject with you when you're trying to actually play a game. So that's a thing. I get my RGB set up. Just have a simple blue static color, and I got OpenRGB working for that, and that's been working. And yeah. So also HDR is supported. That was another thing that was keeping me from moving to Linux, was HDR support for a while. But now HDR is in fact supported on Wayland, and so you see here, enable HDR, and that's a thing. So HDR and VRR are supported. Another thing that's kind of cool, is really easy. You can install the Steam Deck plugins into Steam. So you can have the handheld mode plugins like really easily. Set up a Decky loader and get a bunch of plugins in handheld mode that are very useful. You can easily install those. And I don't have to like rummage around on the internet for programs when I need them, because like I said, we have a couple. We have package installers here. Again, you can go on the terminal if you would like. But yeah, if I want software, it's all here. I don't have to worry about getting a virus, because I went on the freaking internet and clicked on the wrong link, and now I'm like been injected with a bunch of viruses. There's nobody here selling me security. Like Windows likes to sell you their security. It's funny, I said I wasn't frustrated with Windows originally, but now I feel like I am. I'm like, wait a second here. Um, yeah, so the idea that like third parties are selling you the security for your device kind of just doesn't sit right with me. I know they have their antivirus crap running in the background on Windows, so you don't have to pay for it and all. But some people still prefer to buy it. Those companies are still in business. They didn't go out of business or something. And, people still buy that stuff. A lot of it is just, it's viruses itself. And it's just, I would be embarrassed if I were Microsoft and people were actually making mountains of money off of trying to sell the security of my operating system. Whereas on Linux, it's not. You don't have that. Nobody's like trying to sell security. It is secure for free. And there's no software running in the background taking up resources, trying to fight things, and then also deleting files that you download, which is something I had where you download files, they don't like it, they delete it. And I've had that happen multiple times, whereas Windows just deletes files and doesn't even tell you about it. So that's shit. Although, here's a great one. If your system fails on Windows, and you purchased a license or something, if you purchased the wrong license, I guess the cheaper license, and your system fails, and you want to actually put Windows back on your device, then they charge you again for another license that had to have having to pay for Windows multiple times, or just sailing these high fucking seas to just get rid of the watermark and add a couple extra stupid features. I mean, and then there's just theming in general on Windows is almost non-existent. So if you want your desktop to look a certain way, you either download some kind of third-party application that you may or may not trust, or you just like change the wallpaper and you change like the taskbar. Another thing is, actually, see how my taskbar is like black, jet black? Windows wouldn't let me do that. Windows would not let me do that. It was dark gray, or else go fuck yourself. So, yeah. So, no black taskbar for me on Windows. And that sucked because I wanted it. I wanted a black taskbar. And, that was a thing. So, but back to theming, you go here, you go into the settings. I'm doing everything through the GUI. I would love to see more people use the GUI just for people that are new to the OS that don't want to use the terminal, just to show that it's possible, because I'm doing it all the time, but a lot of people are obsessed with the terminal. I'm sure it's very powerful, but I can't remember any of that shit. I can't remember any of these friggin' the other day I was trying to think about what age I was, and I couldn't think of it. I'm not going to remember the sudo apt-get this, that, and the other thing to put into the terminal. But I still love Linux, and I'm getting notifications. I still love Linux, even with very little knowledge of the terminal, outside of copying and pasting commands in. But back to the themes. So we have all these themes, and you could go ahead and download more. And so, so we got, you can theme. You can even make it look like shit. Look like Windows 11. Actually, that's one thing I will say. Windows 11 actually looks really nice. But I can make it look like that if I wanted to. But I can also make it look like I want it to. Change the splash screen. I have an amalgamation of a bunch of different freaking things. I don't know. Got a lot of smashed together a lot of themes to try to do my own thing. And There's a lot of things that I find to be easier to do on Linux than Windows. Uh, so the install process, is to me way easier. I'm not being hounded to purchase crap all the time while loading up Windows. Windows installation takes 1,000 years. Linux is just like really quick, really easy. Just the installation process alone to me is easier. Um, and so just like the package manager makes things a lot easier. I just go down a list of applications that I want, check off a bunch of things, and I hit install, and it installs like a mountain of applications. You know, it's I enjoy the simplicity of just I can't like I said, I can't think of anything off the top of my head normally. So when I have a list of packages right in front of my face, I go, oh, I need this, I need this, I need this, I need this, and then I just hit install, and there it goes. Everything's installed. There's a wizard, because this is focused on gaming. There's a wizard that just you click a button that says install gaming related packages, and it installs things like Lutris and Steam and I believe Heroic Launcher and all these different things that you need to get started gaming, and then you're ready to go with gaming. Or you could just not do that and use it just to browse the internet or something. And that's a thing. So there's so many things that make this such an easier. You just not having Microsoft telling you what you can and can't do all the time, like telling you, oh, buy my shit, buy my fucking Office suite, buy my whatever. Now the downsides, I'll get to the downsides because there are there are downsides because that's why I was hesitant to switch. So there's a game that I play, and some people may scoff their head, including me, or whatever. So what is the word? I don't know. Anyways, they may laugh at me for this, but I'm laughing at me for this. But I like to play Call of Duty. And Call of Duty is not a game that you can actually play on here natively. You can stream it, but you can't natively play the game on here. I play the game, but I noticed that I play it so freaking little, mostly because the game freaking updates all the time, and by the time it's done updating, I don't want to play it anymore. So I play it probably four matches a month. Maybe so I'm like, why am I letting this stupid game that likes to hook into your kernels, hook into your system's kernel and be a piece of shit, why am I letting this game dictate my operating system? Because at that point there really isn't anything else. But one other thing is Game Pass. So Game Pass isn't supported natively. You can stream games, but if I get a graphics card, I get all this hardware, I want to play my games natively. I didn't get it so I could stream. I can stream on anything. I can stream on my phone, a toaster, whatever. So, unfortunately, I can't access all my Game Pass games. However, there's a small amount of games you can actually access through other means, like the EA app, whatever it's called again. And I believe once you install the BattleNet, you can link your Xbox account with that, and you get a small handful of games from your Xbox Game Pass account. So you can get a couple of games. But now that I think of it, with games like Call of Duty, you're probably better off streaming it, because that game when you're streaming it, it's not hooking into your kernel. So you might as well just get Game Pass or GeForce Now and play it that way. So this way it's not it's just a video of you playing the game, and it's not fucking with your security. Let Nvidia take it up the ass with that. So other than that, there's a lot of things I enjoy about this operating system. it feels very relaxing to use, um, and just yeah, you can do cool things with it. You could change out your desktop. You can really want to. You change your kernel. I don't want to do that, but it's nice. I like it. I have it set up in a familiar but different way, and I'm very happy with it. I have it on all my laptops now. I have it on my handheld. I actually switched my Lenovo Legion Go over to Bazzite. Oh, not Bazzite. SteamOS. SteamOS. Yes, I have a SteamOS, and I have Bazzite on my laptop. Um, and I have Bazzite on another computer that's like a console type computer um, that I made once. I tried to put Hollow ISO back in the day. Tried to put Hollow ISO on, and it was atrocious, but now it's actually got Bazzite on it, and it's running great, and I love that. And um, yeah, so just wanted to talk about my experience with Linux and all the, and just how much I enjoy using it, and talk about how I've switched. So now, going forward, all the gameplays on my channel for PC gaming are going to be Linux gameplays. So, thank you for watching.